Title 17 U.S. Code 512F provides penalties for the deliberate misrepresentation of copyright infringement. The owners and authors of this video, the common denominator, and the Paramystic Broadcast Channel are a nonprofit 501c3 exempt organization and believes in good faith that it constitutes educational fair use, as per Title 17 U.S.C. 107. Persons, agencies, attorneys, and or social media algorithms filing a false or frivolous Digital Millennium Copyright Act complaint may be subject to civil liability. Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Accordingly, viewer discretion is advised.
Happy Hump Day, everyone. And as always, I pledge my allegiance to the Constitution of the United States of America and to the republic for which the flag stands, one nation under Almighty God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, that's my own way of saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I've had a lot of politicians that have listened to that and said it's a little bit more spot on than what it probably should be. But as always, I promise, I always have those quotes. And I had to do a little digging for this one because ultimately we'll be talking, my guest and I, we'll be talking about leadership and how we experience in our lifetime, from everything from our parents to grandparents to the service of the country of which we were in, so on and so forth. But the most serious failure of leadership is the failure to foresee. The most serious failure of leadership is a failure to foresee. Robert K. Greenleaf. I did not do a bio check on him, and I intend to do so after the program, just because I don't like to just throw stuff out there. But sometimes you get an idea of how a person thinks or how they present themselves through, again, quotes in this case. But what got them there to be able to, what was their background that allowed them to be so memorable and in our history, because that's what it is. And without further, I've got to say, I personally look at the Cameron area of Missouri because it's about 20 miles from me. I look at that as being my Mecca because it's really the biggest city around, about population 9,000. And so they had a radio station with Chris Ward as one of the DJs who did not want to present news, justifiable, rightful exposure of news to the community. And then we recently had Jimmy Potts, the editor of the Citizens Observer in Cameron, and he, of course, eventually got called out, and he left the town with a big yellow streak of cowardice, never to be heard from again. And now we've got other media that are stepping in. We've had a gentleman by the name of Quentin Lovejoy, who puts out Q's Views on Facebook. I can only say one thing. He may never want to talk to me, and I'm okay with that. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But then again, not everyone's my cup of tea. You'll be learning about that later, probably on a more personal basis after our guest probably has left, because I don't want to place him in an embarrassing situation at all. But the bottom line is we don't always get along. We should try to. But I will say Q really does do some great work when it comes to offering exposure of media to the people of Cameron. And then we've got the new paper coming out. It's called the Clinton County Leader with Jamie Honeycutt. Jamie Honeycutt ends his last week's article with, join me in beating the drum. That's funny, Jamie. I actually asked you a year ago, telling you about all this stuff, to join me in beating the drum. But he couldn't. Most likely the answer would be he had a paper at that time and still does out of Trenton, and it would be a conflict of interest with competition, I guess. I myself say, I'm a man. Give me that competition. I want to win whatever it is I'm competing against. And I don't think there's a man alive that would say, I want to be a loser. Oh, I'm sorry. Unless your last name is Biden. Anyway, so we don't have the biggest, and we have a new editor at the Cameron Citizens Observer, but I've always looked at this next guest of ours of being a part of that media. Richie King has, I'm just going to do it like this. Richie, join me as I give you some accolades.
All right.
You know, Richie, I've always liked you because you are a form of media, more leaning towards comedy. But I do know for a fact you often tell the town about events that are coming up, be it a parade, some kind of event, fundraiser event. You are always supportive of the community, correct?
Yeah, I do everything I can to be, although sometimes I feel like it's not reciprocated. but I do everything I can to make sure people know about what's going on.
And that's very sad because I agree with you. In your case, people won't give you, and I'm going to say it like this, they won't give you the attaboy because, gosh, if you didn't remind me, I may have missed that event this weekend. Thank you. But they don't say that to you,
Right.
Whereas myself, I don't know if you know this about me, Richie. Agree or disagree if you want. I hope you will do as you please. But I've got a big mouth. And I'm pretty brash. And I'm pretty blunt. And I don't pull any punches.
Right.
And I pretty much am in your face. Would you not agree? Or do you think maybe I'm gentle?
No. I've heard that very same thing about me once in a while, too. I got the biggest mouth in 3 counties. But for having a big mouth, a lot of people don't listen. And, and lies the problem.
That is the number one problem. I found out, Richie, you're going to like this. I found out last Thursday, I get a phone call from the director of safety out here at Lake Viking where I live.
All right.
And he calls me up and he says, "Are you on the condo app?" I said, "No." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't want them to know how many cats, dogs, fish I have, what friends are visiting me, and their license plate number, and so on." No, it's none of their business. Because all they want to do at HOA is get into your business.
I got a lot of things about the HOA. We ain't got enough time to get into it. But I think HOA is one of the dumbest things. I mean, you got to pay money for someone to tell you what to do on your property, what to do at your house, how you mow your yard, what color your house can be. If you think about it, that's what it is. People come in and say, well, they're making us all uniform. No, they're really not. You got a group of people who make decisions on your property. That is never good. It's not. And you see a lot of people who move out of HOA because they're tired of being told what to do. I've been in construction for about 30 years, and I've worked for some people who are in HOA, and the things that some of the contractors had to jump through, to work on that property was crazy because I didn't sign a contract with HOA. I signed a contract with the homeowner or with the homeowner. Okay. So yeah, the HOA, you'll be hard pressed to find a whole lot of people that think that's a great thing.
Hey, Crystal, how are you? Long time no see. Crystal also says hello to you too, Richie. Crystal Marie,
CO.
She's out of Bethany.
Yeah, CO.
Yeah, she's got a wonderful little, basically like a thrift shop store. She does a lot of auctioning off online. She does this quite often, weekly, I believe. And it's her way of making a living. It's her way of contributing to people who can't afford the big priced items at a store. But they can still get that nice little chest of drawers for their children's bedroom,
Right.
So, Crystal, big shout out to you, girl. So, Richie, what I'd like to do is, I noticed after your name there, by the way, I've got something special for you. I want to just, here we go. Add this, and here you go. So, who am I talking to? I'm talking to Richie King of WOM Entertainment on Facebook, YouTube. Bad man of comedy. Now, are you as bad as Sam Kinison or Andrew Dice Clay?
No, let me clarify what the bad man of comedy means. I'm a former Marine, okay, and I'm an MMA fighter, okay, and just an all around rugged guy. So the bad man of comedy. No, I've won several competitions with I can perform in church, I can perform in school, and I can perform in a bar. It doesn't matter where I perform. That's why I'm a bad man. I get on there and I steal the crowd, and that's what I do. And that's why the bad man comes about. So there's many reasons for certain words, And I'm with Comedy Vets. We're the ones in the camera to put on the comedy show for the veterans to raise money for 22 a day. And as you know, 22 a day, 22 of our brothers and sisters commit suicide every day. And it's a sad stat. And we try real hard to counteract it. We got an office, which I'm at right now. It's my office here in Cameron at the old school downstairs. And I met you, matter of fact, through a guy who used to do the podcast with me. He went on and started his own network. but I knew you from there, and we kind of hooked up, and we agree. And if we disagree, we'll say we disagree. Oh no, sure. But so that's a little bit about the bad man of comedy. I'm between 5'11" and 6 foot, depending upon what police station I leave. I'm trained in martial arts, if we want to go that way, MMA fighter. So, whatever. I want to get along and make people laugh, but that's up to them.
Well, there was an incident here in Gallatin about a week ago where a mother and her daughter went into the woman's room.
Yeah.
And then an irate, angry, mad boyfriend followed her into the woman's room and started beating on her. And I have actually heard reports. I have not been given the names. I want the names because I love to get a picture of these guys and just give them the I'm a feckless man award, because both of these guys basically dropped their stuff and left the store. They didn't want to get involved with a man beating on a woman with a girl, little tiny girl, 4 years old, screaming and crying. And you know, and I know, I carry a 45. I would not have thought twice.
No. So, and I promise you, well, I wouldn't say I promise you, but I can almost guarantee you that those men that dropped the groceries and ran have an age bracket, okay, that they fall between. An age bracket that they fall between, okay? Because a lot of men today, and I know this could be offensive, and it's true, though, a lot of your modern males are soft, okay? I know someone said, well, I don't want to get into none of my business. Well, it is your business. If you're the type of person who dials that phone and calls 911, you just made it your business, okay? Why not help her out? I don't condone any man beating on a woman, and I don't condone women beating on men. There's plenty of cases of that happening too. If you love somebody, you don't want to beat on them. There's just no reason to do that, and you should never do that. And for one, if I would have been there, I'm just going to tell you the truth. I wish I would have been there. I'd had to have bail money. Okay, I'm not going to kid you, because I don't condone that type of behavior. And being a Marine, and a National Guard, I got 7 years total service. We're taught to defend people, men, women, children, all races, creed, and color, doesn't matter.
Age. There might be a guy that's our age. We're both. I'm 63, so I'm going to say you're probably a healthy 55, maybe
53. 50. I'll be 53. I'm 52. I'll be 53 here in October. Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
October what? Oh, never mind. That's maybe too much information.
Yeah. Not quite the middle.
But, Okay. That's right on. That means you're a Libra. We find balance.
Yeah.
And we always try to do it peacefully. We like harmony. We're both men that are very romantic in our own ways with the person in our life.
I hope my wife's agreeing with you right now. I hope she's nodding her head, because I try hard to be romantic, but being a man of a certain stature, it's kind of hard these days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I know, but the thing is, we can allow what I guess I'm saying is, I believe you and I know I can leave myself vulnerable to my girlfriend.
Right.
But I'm not going to leave myself vulnerable to you.
No, I mean, you shouldn't.
No.
You shouldn't. That's stupid.
And I think I even mentioned about competition. I mean, when you think about it, do you know of any man that says, I want to get into this horse race so I can lose?
No, and I'm glad you brought that up. All my life, I had a particular saying, and everyone always thought I was arrogant when I was saying this. And then one day my son come to me. He goes, Dad, I understand what you mean. And my saying was this: I am top 3 in the world, no matter what I do. Am I really? No. Okay. Can I play basketball better than Michael Jordan and a handful of others? Absolutely not. But I got that mentality that I want to be the best. I want to be the top 3 no matter what I do. Would you rather have me saying that, or would you have a man come in, oh man, you hired me to pour concrete. I ain't no good at concrete. It cracks up. 6 months. But no, you don't want that dude even around you. Okay.
No.
You want a guy that, like when I'm jawing with my son, I got 2 sons, we jaw on each other. We love each other to death. I lay down my life for them, they with me. But we jaw once in a while. I beat him in basketball. I said, hey, you let an old man beat you. Don't be mad. I'm top 3 in the world. And for a long time they got tired of hearing that. Then one day it dawned on them like a light bulb went off. That's what he means. oh, he ain't just a fat guy with brain damage. He actually makes some sense, So yeah, but that's what you want. You want people to be confident. And too many times, you no matter where you go, you can go to Casey's, for example, or anywhere you go, and you hear people complaining. They're just negative and they're complaining, but they don't have a solution how to fix that problem. Okay. Well, you and me, we're ideal men. We're ideal men. Now, people don't always listen to our ideas, but that's on them. But we have ways to try to fix things. And I'm also the type of guy, for example, I was running for president. Obviously didn't make it, but during the presidential debate, they had a question. How would you fix the child care in this country? And I actually had to sit back and say, well, I'm not sure how I'd fix it. I'm a man to tell you. If I don't know something, I'll tell you, right? I said, but what I want to do, I want to have a meeting with the child care people, the parents, and get me some ideas so both parties can be successful. They got to pay for it. Daycare's got to happen. You need daycare. They need paid for doing the service. They need supplies. Parents got to work. They don't want to give up a lot of their paycheck, but they need to give up some of it. Somewhere there's a happy medium, right? And so I gave a guy that answer. He goes, crap, that's better than the politicians give us,
Well, yeah, and I agree with you. I can see that. That is now me myself. I think I told you I wanted to run for governor. I still intend to run for governor, but I'm just going to plan it out to 28. I have to do it. I have to get a game plan together. But seriously, what are the credentials for being a governor or the president? There really aren't any. Right. There's no check off list. There's no boxes you have to check.
What is it? 35 resident of the United States.
Yeah, maybe age checking. Yeah, stuff like that.
Residents, but other than that, no. I mean, like Trump or not, he was convicted of felon. He can still run for president. Okay.
Yep.
So, where are we at?
Well, I'll tell you what, going right there right now, he was convicted of 34 felonies.
Right.
But they're about ready to be dropped.
Yeah.
The Judge Marchand is going to drop them on September 18th. Mm-hmm. He's going to put a ruling in. And Bragg, the prosecuting attorney that overstepped his boundaries completely, the DA, he has been okay with, well, let's postpone the penalty phase of this. The sentencing phase of this.
Well, see, but the thing is, it doesn't matter if he was guilty, not guilty, or looking for opponent or not. Should it have came this far? Should our leaders, and you know how big of a joke the United States, once powerful, the big lion that was the United States, roar. All you had to do was roar, and countries would do their thing, right? Well, you know how that looks like now to world leaders. We got one presidential candidate, have another one locked up. We got another presidential candidate laughing at a son who's a coke addict. We got Democrats and Republicans. They're not getting nothing done because they're too busy. I'm right, you're wrong, I'm big, you're little. There's nothing you can do about it all the time. And we don't. That's not what we need.
No.
It's not what we need.
We don't need what I call squabbles and spats. Did you watch? Did you watch? What's that?
I said, or pissing contest. Just put it out there where it is. Pissing contest.
Did you watch the debate by chance?
I did. I took an hour and a half out of my life to watch it. And, I'm going to take this away from debate. Debate was one-sided. Trump just stomped a mud hole in his ass and walked it dry. But should we have really put Biden up there? That, to me, like him or not, you got to understand, he should not have even been put up there. He looked like a babbling moron. I mean, he reminded me of Chris Berman, the commentator, rumbling, stumbling, mumbling, fumbling. That's what he was. That's all he did the whole night. It's sad. The man should be somewhere else doing something else with his wife, his kid, whatever. Instead, he's up there and he's trying to run the world, and people put him out there. There'll be some people get arrested for putting that man. That should be elderly abuse.
It is. Yes, it should be. Hey, Julie, how's it going, girl? Happy 4th of July coming to you, by the way, tomorrow. Yes, it is elderly abuse. I was very upset that they took about 20 minutes talking about golf. Ultimately, Trump did say, let's stop with the childishness.
Yeah.
Let's stop.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 minutes were the biggest disappointment for me because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I've got it on DVR. Yeah, I'm that kind of a guy. I do believe that the question was something like, what are you going to do once you're, when you're in office? And he didn't say personally, he didn't say, I'm going to close up the border, open up the pipelines, and so on and so forth. Start the Abraham Accords back up. We're going to talk to Putin and get them out of war. We're going to tell China to back down, blah, blah, blah. He didn't give out any game plan. And that's the thing that really upset me because that was his moment to do that. Well, and Biden, on the other hand, he looked like a cadaver.
Yeah. Weekend at Bernie's. What he looked like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yes.
I mean, hey, Ruth, what's going on, I don't think Trump gave away much because he didn't have to. His previous record pretty much stood for itself, and he was also very pissed off. I don't know what kind of network he let me say that or not, but he's pretty well pissed off. Okay, he was tired of some of the lies that were being told about him. He was tired of being ran through the ringer. When he was standing up for his country, he wanted to do right. He's sick and tired of it. So I think he took that opportunity to vent, and he probably knew that they got another one set up. But I don't know if we're going to have another debate. The way this one looked right now, and the Democrats are running around like rats, leaving a sinking ship right now. They're wanting him out. Some people want him in. His wife putting her hand down. He's staying in, and then Barack and the guys, well, maybe he'll step down. Wow.
So you don't think there will be another debate?
I just feel like they shouldn't be one, right? I don't know. His own people, the way they're split down the line in the Democratic Party right now, they don't trust him. A lot of them don't want him there. They've said that. They want him to drop out. He's going to drop out. I don't know. Let's look at the debate a minute. Did it really help that they turned off the microphones? Did that really make a difference? No, they could have muted Trump's all night, and he still would have beat Biden. Okay, that wasn't the problem. I think Trump was pretty orderly. I think Biden was kind of orderly. I mean, there was some name calling on both sides. I think the function went well. Having no fans watch, I don't know. Okay, maybe that went well. But if all that stuff was supposed to be designed to help Biden, it didn't. So now, if they go back to the regular platform, is it going to be worse? Is it going to be better? I mean, I don't know. They probably need, to answer your question, they probably need to have another debate to try to clean this up a little bit and do better. But I'm not sure. I'm about 40% sure they'll have another one. It's supposed to be in sometime in September.
Yeah. So, well, personally, I am hoping that they do have another one. This time, again, it will be a mud stomping, no doubt. Mm-hmm. But, the reason for no audience was I don't think CNN, even in New York City, could have stopped the rush of Trump supporters that would have been filling up that whole auditorium.
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, there. You get three, four, 5 Biden guys in there, and they're not going to yell Biden. No, they're going to be scared out of their mind. They're seriously underestimating how pissed off people are in this country. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Take away the MAGA part. You still got rhino Republicans and regular Republicans, and even some Democrats and even some independents. They're like, we signed up for this. So now they're pissed off. They're tired of everything. They've already heard everything. What more can they possibly say? We've seen Biden's record. He's let people die on his watch. We had the worst economy that we've ever had, contrary to his belief. It's terrible. And these are policies this is something he created, not accidental, not COVID. This is something that he created, right? People right now are not working. Here's the deal. I'm going to put this out there, and y'all can fact check me all you want to, because I don't lie to nobody, okay? When he said unemployment, it's the lowest it's ever been. According to numbers, kind of. The truth, no, that's wrong. Because the workforce is so much smaller, okay, that 3% is going to be down. If the workforce is bigger, that number will be way up there, and you find out more people unemployed. But here's the thing about unemployed. Unemployment is tricky. No one is really unemployed because you got a Social Security number. Or when you draw Social Security benefits, you draw on your number, okay? When you're out of benefits, you don't draw anymore. Your Social Security number goes away. They think you went back to work. A lot of people have not went back to work. A lot of people now are selling. There's millions and millions of dollars being generated through marketplace, okay, these different sites that people don't pay taxes on, right? And so they assume everybody's back to work. They're not. working at a brick and mortar building. And here's the evidence on that. Go to any town. I challenge you to go to any town, anywhere in your state. Walk down through the main drag or walk down through the road and look at all these businesses. They all have help wanted signs in the window. So nobody's working. So if nobody's working at these jobs and jobs are closing down, how is unemployment 3%? It's simply not. Okay, they'll say, well, the workforce is low. Well, then if workforce is low, you can't say unemployment's low. It doesn't make sense. Okay, if it don't make sense, don't fit it in your head because it's not true. And that's how unemployment really is. Okay, and even if you're working, you're not making enough money to do anything. Do people? And I love people, all kinds of people. I really do. I'm a comedian. I perform for a lot of people. But you mean to tell me people at McDonald's should get $17 or $20 an hour to make a freaking sandwich? And they can't even do that right. A lot of them. I mean, I ordered Big Mac, or I ordered a quarter pounder one time, and didn't get no top bun. All I got was a bottom bun. Got everything else, no bottom bun, right? And so, and this happens a lot. This one particular gas station, I'm gonna call them out in Riverside in St. Joe, Missouri, right out there, the off ramp. That was a terrible McDonald's. Okay, do you think they really need that much money? I know they got bills to pay, but if it's performance based, hell no.
No.
Hell no. So I don't,
No, and I don't want to begrudge anyone making money, but again, like you said, what is the difficulty level of putting together a sandwich? I know you're working around grease, deep fryers,
right,
blah blah blah, but
floor's constantly slippery. Yeah, floor's constantly slippery. Yeah.
But is it really, like you said, are they worth $15, $17, $19 an hour?
No.
And I'm just going to say it. No. Now, if they want to become an apprentice and get into carpentry, electrical, concrete, roofing, what have you, masonry work, have them make a decent living of $20 an hour to start.
Because they're going to need it. They're going to need it in the future because their bodies will break down. Okay.
Yes.
And they need an nest egg. See, I've always had a problem with somebody, and there's going to be people disagree with me, and I'll be glad to debate it with you. But people that use their brain, these little skinny dudes who sit behind a desk and use their brain, make more money than the guy going out building things. Okay. The guy going out building things, his profession doesn't last like the guy sitting behind the computer. Okay. I know I was a carpenter for 30 years. I'm telling you, your body breaks down. I don't care how strong you are and what you do. You're going to break down. Okay. Or fall 20 feet in the air, almost die, but not die because you're built different. So those things to me always been backwards. Now you say, well, what about doctors? Okay, let's talk about doctors for a second. Yes, they're smart, absolutely geniuses. I have no problem with them. I have no problem with the work they do. But do they need $45,000 to repair a broken wrist? People are like, well, you can't do it. Actually, how do you know I can't? How do you know? Repair broken wrist. Heart surgery? Okay, you're taking the heart out, putting one in. There's a lot of things go into that. I can see them guys, ingrown toenails. I know a lot of rednecks that pull them out themselves. Do they need $15,000 to pull an ingrown toenail out? Do you need to pay $100 for an aspirin in the hospital? I can go down and spend $100 to get a case of them from Dollar General. Okay, so you see where I'm at. Just because you got the brains, don't mean you should be paid that money. Healthcare is one of the biggest mysteries in this country. Why we pay so much for healthcare for little things.
Well, I'll give you an example. I had a guy I worked with. He was much younger than me. He was a boss. He was my boss. He was probably about 15 years younger than me. And I respected him. Great guy. He really was. A good boss, a good leader. Unlike what we have right now, which I'll talk about later, but, in certain portions of our community. But this guy here said he went to the hospital once or into the ER because he had something going on.
All right.
He said they ran either 11, my memory, and I'm not exaggerating, trying not to, in fact. He said they either ran like 11 or 14 tests on him. Only 2 of those tests were really relevant to why he was in the emergency room.
Right.
Whereas the other 9 to 12 tests weren't needed, weren't required, but the hospital could bill the insurance company because it was a workman's comp situation. So we've got people in office of leadership in a hospital, for instance, that's abusing the insurance companies. And we, of course, have to pay for it in the long run. Somewhere it all, shit rolls downhill, as the plumber says.
And that happens a lot, padding the books, okay? Here's something else that don't quite understand, and I wish they would change this deal. Let's say you have someone in your family die, parent or in-law parent, okay? And they did not have a will, which I advise everybody to go out there and get a will right now. Jot something down. It's not official. It really ain't unless it's wrote down and notarized. Okay, so go take care of the will in your area. But if they don't have a will, probate, the lawyer, he gets X, usually $2,000 to $5,000. Okay, if you got property, if the property's worth $40,000 or more, okay, it's got to go to court. It's got to be changed. There's a lot of money going on there. Why do they think they're entitled to any of your mom and dad or your father-in-law's money? Okay, that's the way this country is. If I sold you land, no, let me do it this way. If I sell you a car, okay, and the car has a debt on it, I'm responsible for the debt. That's the way it should be. Now, if I tried to sell you land and it had a debt on it, if you wanted that land, you had to pay my debt before you get the land.
Correct.
That is the most messed up, stupid. These little things right here is what has citizens pissed off. Nobody touches these things. Nobody mentions these things in the White House. Hey, listen, forget the White House. The closest person in your life, the one you deal with on a daily basis, would either be the city mayor or the governor of the state you live in. Okay, and none of these governors are doing anything about these issues because it's all about the dollar. When my brother
Mike Parsons of Missouri is worthless.
And he's on his way out. When my brother died, some years back, he died of MRSA. MRSA is what got him. Okay, they said he put a pig valve in his heart. Well, we found out they didn't. We found out they did not do that either, and they built insurance companies and things. I called up a famous law person or people out of Kansas City called Brown and Crouppen. Okay, great law firm here. They're not paying me to say this, but they're just good. They're good people. Call them up. And I told them what happened. I said, I want to sue those people who killed my brother, not for me, for his son, my nephew, can have him some money growing up. And they took the case, and then they said, listen, you don't pay us nothing until we get paid, blah, 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 blah. They called me back within a week. He said, well, we have good news and bad news. I said, okay, well, like every attorney, there's always some good news, bad news. He said, the good news is we can sue the pants off them. We can get you $450,000 or more. I'm like, okay, there you go. All right, when do we start? He said, the bad news is you won't get nothing. I said, what do you mean I won't get nothing? You just said I can sue him. He said, you can. He said, your brother owes a medical debt. I said, I'm not responsible for my brother's medical debt. He said, no, but his estate is. And any money goes to his estate. Okay. Even though I could have put it in a trust, right? They didn't mention that. They said estate. When you put it, his estate needs to be satisfied if there's any money coming to it. All right. And so my nephew didn't get a dime because all the money would have went to cover his SSI bill because that's what he had insurance, right? Even though when he went in there, he was a big guy. He was 425 pounds. He died 500 pounds. He gave 75 pounds of fluid that was on his body. They said he didn't. We got a hold of medical records. He did. Couldn't get a dime. But a guy could walk down the street, get burnt by hot coffee, and sue the hell out of McDonald's.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys and your fans, and by the way, thank you all for having me on. Your fans, explain that shit to me. We've all got these stories that are true, and you can go to the courthouse or anywhere you want to verify them. Why are so many of these stories happening and not a politician one is doing anything about it?
No.
You're
right. You're right. It gets tied up in probate court to the state of which you live in, and the state gets all the money back, technically. They get a big chunk of what's owed to you. They get a big chunk. They ain't entitled to none of that. It's like here in the state of Missouri. I love the state of Missouri, from Missouri.
I love it, but it's got a lot of flaws. One of them, the roads. We won't get into that. That's another topic for 9 shows. But one of the things they got in this law, they got a law says they cannot shut your power off in the state of Missouri if it's 32 degrees or below for a 24-hour period. I learned that's verbiage. That's how it says, right? But they do it. They shut them off. It's against the law to do it. So I asked a guy who was on my network. He was a politician. He said, "Well, I didn't know about that. I don't know." He said, "I'll check it out." He went check it, come back and says, "Well, there's a part 2 of that that citizens don't know. Okay, co-ops are exempt. It didn't say anywhere in the law that the co-op was exempt. The law says they can't do it, but they do it anyway. So why double laws? Why make a law to cancel one law, to cancel another law, back to another law, get the original law right?"
Well, that's funny you bring that up, because now this is where I'm going to go a little bit into the news of our community.
All right.
Matt Robinson is the superintendent of the Cameron School District here, R1 School District here in Cameron, Missouri. He has a PhD, meaning he has a doctorate in, I'm going to say in teaching, because there's a difference of teachers and educators. Educators give you an education. Teachers are giving you all this emotional fluff garbage, to be PC, sensitive to other people's feelings. You can't say what's on your mind. You got to be nice, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, this guy here has just started up about 2 years ago, and he had an ordinance signed with the city of Cameron, yet he had no general orders or any policy. And right now, his attorneys are trying to draw a policy of what the school resource officers are allowed to do, so on and so forth. And yet, no one's held accountable. And the people that are working there right now, Johnny Palmer, I know this firsthand, he has flubbed not 1, but 2 big investigations. And there's still 2 others that I don't want to talk about, because they're sexual in nature, of little girls and children in grade school, basically. But the 2 I can talk about, one is an assault on a parent. He saw it, and he didn't bring a staff member to charges. And the second one is he knew there's a book called, I think it's called Out of the Ordinary, or All in the Ordinary, whatever it is. It had graphic pictures, which was in violation of Missouri Statute 573.550. Someone should have been charged. Someone should have been held accountable. In this case, the librarian. But because he didn't do a report in full and gave only half of it to the prosecuting attorney, it didn't satisfy her. That's one story I've heard. Or he just neglected to do it altogether and not report on it, which I'm most likely believing. The bottom line is no one wants to get involved. Not even people of powerful positions that are supposed to be leaders in our community want to get involved. But my biggest question is right now, how is it that for 2 years, this school has been operating a police force without any kind of general orders or any kind of policy? And my question to you is, can you give a description? I know what it is, but can you give the description or definition of a general order?
Well, being a veteran, if you can't say what a general order is, was you really in the service, right? A general order is just a set of guidelines, a set of rules that are enforceable, by the way. Okay. They're not policy. General orders are, say, for example, I would protect my post to all the enemies, foreign and domestic. It's not just literature, it's not just code. That's what they say to you. They pound that in your head. And now, but you say they pound that in your head. So general orders are just a set of regulations that you follow, not policy. Policy means somebody else made a policy to a law. Those are not policies. Those are law that can't be politicized. You'll follow them first, or you get in trouble.
Yes. And that's my whole situation is I'm afraid personally, because I happen to like a few of the members that are on the council of City Council of Cameron.
Okay.
And the few that I know, the few that I like, I don't want to see Cameron and them get drugged through the mud. Because I do foresee problems with the director of safety, again, Matt Robinson, the stupid intendant is what I like to call him, as my term of endearment. The stupid intendant, he is not post-certified to endorse or fulfill the laws of the state of Missouri when it comes to law enforcement agents' general orders. He's not there. He's not post-certified. And I think that that's going to cause a lot of problems in our community. Something's going to happen. It's going to be big. And when it is.
Here's the deal. You didn't want Cameron drugged through. Well, they are. They are. Here's the thing about Cameron. Again, I do a lot of business here. My wife used to work here for 20-some years at the Veterans Home. We're here. I live between Chillicothe and Hamilton, or excuse me, Chillicothe and Cameron, exact same distance, about a mile difference between the two. So I go to both of them. Every time I put on a comedy show around Cameron, all right. Now, whether I agree with this or not, this is some of the things that come out. Hey, man, how you guys doing over Cameron? I said, oh, we got an officer there. Boy, it's too bad y'all can't put on shows over there. I said, well, I have. But they said, well, don't feel bad because Cameron, you can give them construction paper and a crayon, and they couldn't draw a buck. All right. Again, I'm not saying I necessarily believe that, but you go to Excelsior Springs and St. Joe and Stewartsville and these towns around here, this is some of the things they come up with about Cameron, or the leadership doesn't know. Cameron is one of the few towns who the board appoint the mayor. You don't have a mayor election, the board appoints the mayor. Okay. By doing that, that empowers the board to put in who they want, so they don't have to worry about voting against them, instead of getting somebody in there who's for the people. Okay. Because if you vote for them, you're for the people. You really are. No matter if you do. Like Biden. Biden's for people because people voted him in. Allegedly. Voted him in. Okay. If he was appointed, would he be effective? Let that ponder around in your brain a second. If he was appointed.
Yeah, that's a very interesting. I didn't know that, by the way. Yeah. I did not know. I thought mayors had to be voted in. I know in bigger cities they do.
I thought that same thing, but the current current mayor now, when she ran, she had to run for city council, not mayor. She ran for city council, then the city council put her in as mayor. Okay. Cameron, and I know there's I've heard of other cities doing that, but Cameron is the only one around here, and there's a lot of little towns around here with mayors. The only ones I know that do it.
Well, see, then if that's the case, and I just learned this you're going to like this, Richie.
All right.
Do not have too much of a big laugh on my behalf.
Okay.
Okay? Because I'm about ready to confess something. It's going to be a big bomb. At least I know it will be to you. I just found out last week that the Board of Education and the Cameron School Board of elected officials are one and the same. In other words, I thought the Board of Education was another whole group of vegetables or fruits or whatever, nuts. I didn't know that the Cameron School Board are the ones that actually keep this guy, Matt Robinson, keep him as the stupid intendant. And why do I say this about him? And why am I so down on him? It's because, and I'm going to throw this back at you. If you were working a job and you cost the company time, labor, and materials, would you expect the company to turn around and give you a $20,000 raise?
No, I'd be lucky I don't get a phone call saying, don't bother coming in tomorrow. Your service is no longer required.
And Matt Robinson, for every single year he's been here, the GPA, the grade point average of the students graduating, every single year they've gone lower and lower and lower. And just 1 year ago, the school board The Board of Education and the Cameron School Board gave him a $17,500 raise for graduating kids that have even worse GPAs than the kids that graduated a year before that.
That's tragic because a lot of people are stupid these days. I'll say it. The modern population is just dumb. They really are. They don't know things. Here's another thing, though, about that school. They gave him a raise, and I don't know the guy. You know the guy. I don't know the guy. But I'll tell you this. There's a lot more problems going on there than just DPA and smut in schools. There's a lot more than that. They have a bus route which is not dependable. Doesn't pick the kids up when they're supposed to be picked up. My daughter, for example, lives here in town. Her boys ride the bus. She called up, and they chewed her out. So why don't you just bring them here? Our bus ain't reliable. My daughter's like, a correction, the bus better be reliable. That's what we're paying for. And had a big old debate about him, and several times the kids had to come back. Like, for example, in the wintertime, they had to walk back to the house, a couple houses away, but it's still cold. Okay. They walked back there, their little boys, and said, Mommy, you got to take me. She had to get up and go take him. This last time, pregnant, carrying a baby. She had to get up, take him to school, pregnant, because the bus don't do their job. Now, it ain't just one time. They just didn't miss them once. You can probably count 12 to 15 times just my grandsons in a school year. 15 times in a school year, just one patch of kids. Think of how many other parents are now out on them. Let's say you're at work, Vincent. You got to call, oh, the bus missed your kid. You got to come on and take your kid to school, or have a trusted neighbor to take him. And he did nothing. Nothing.
Right. And what you just gave me for a number, say 15 a year, that means out of 180, it's almost 10% of that kid's bus ride, either to or from being picked up or dropped off. 10% of it, the parents have to get involved.
Right. And it's the school's fault. Now, the number no kid. Now, if a kid misses a bus because he oversleeps, that's the parent's fault. You can't count that as a school bus. But when that bus blatantly don't come or skips the part of the route, and they say, well, it's not that we're underpaid, then what the hell is it? If it ain't because you're underpaid, then what the hell is it? Bad weather, running late, or missed them all together. No. Who's that? Ruth? Yeah, Ruth. No, Ruth. Missed them all together. There was some routes, Ruth, that they didn't even run. And you can ask other parents from Cameron. It's happened before. So, I mean, the giving this man, and it's all under his watch. He's got responsibility for it. Not happening. Now, again, I'm not going to ring it through the ringer because there's a lot of other things involved in that. But when you're the top man, well, I guess he's number 2 in charge. The top man would be the superintendent. The superintendent would be in charge of the school. Would be the superintendent, then the principal, and the parent ultimately. Right. When this school don't think that. They don't think that.
No. And I didn't even know. Thank you, by the way, for bringing this to my attention. I have I've talked to a few people about the busing system, but this was probably the best conversation I've had yet, or the most seemingly candid, because you're not throwing technically anyone under the bus. You're just saying that these are facts of. Now, see, for myself, like you said, there's a lot more besides the GPAs. To me are number 1. The smut books are number 2. You've got bullying in school.
Yes.
You've got a lot of kids that are getting beat up, and they're putting it on video, going viral on videos. You've got drugs in school. Lots of drugs. And you've got kids, when you and I went to school, again, we would carry a pocket knife. We would see our brothers, our older brothers and sisters, or cousins, or sisters, I said that, with gun racks in the back of their pickup trucks.
Right.
Try and find a gun rack for a truck.
Yeah, no. That when they film it like that, this is what I talk about. They're not very smart. They think it's funny to film it, okay? But that's evidence. That's digital evidence of a camera somewhere. Your stupid ass committing a crime. You got it on time. We didn't commit no crimes on time. We see a popo. We were gone. Okay. We got away from the school. If we ever had some business to conduct, okay. Yeah. We had some furniture to move. We had some consequences, repercussions. We got away from the school. Problem is, when I was in school, they used to think they owned us all the way. all the way to my house. Okay. No, once you leave the school property, they're no longer responsible for me. Okay. Yeah, they tried that, but that didn't go nowhere. In Jamesport, Missouri, it didn't go nowhere. Great place. I love Jamesport. I got a lot of family there, but it didn't go nowhere. They're like, okay, forget it. As soon as you get off property, though, you're on your own. Well, that's okay. Put us on our own, because then the school wasn't responsible, which is okay too. Okay too. They got to do what they got to do, and I understood all that.
Well, the thing that was something else. Like when we were little, you and I mean, granted, there's 10 years between us. Chance of Gus getting into a fight would have been none at all.
Right.
There's just no way. I mean, if I was to pick on you at 6 years old and me being 16, I'm sure I'd have a couple of big brothers and friends kick my ass in. But, that thing is, when we got into fights, though, it was usually I get a black eye, you get a fat lip. We walked away friends.
Yes.
We didn't try to kill one another with a knife or a gun. I didn't have 5 guys around me saying, you better take this beating that Vince is going to give you. If not, we're all going to beat you up, and so on and so forth. It just wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't. And matter of fact, usually it was quite the opposite. Okay. Somebody you didn't know say, what's up, man? Stop being a bully. Okay. I teach all my grandkids and my cousins at the time, stand up to bullies. And I teach them some stuff that you normally wouldn't do in a fight. Now I'm trained in 6,000 martial arts and all that stuff, but I train them. They're like, we get in trouble in school. I said, if you ever get in trouble in school, you have to school, call me directly. Okay. If you ever get in trouble for defending yourself, you're an asshole, then you deserve what you get. But if you're defending yourself and you get in trouble, have them call me directly, because I'll explain a few things to them about the laws of nature. All right.
Yep.
And so I got one grandson who is going to jail. I just know it. They're trying to correct him, but I think he's going to be in jail. And I showed him something, and my wife's like, you really think you should show him anything? And I thought about like crap after I already did. Well, he uses it. What I showed him. The kid leaves him alone. And now he didn't do it exactly correct or would have snapped the kid's arm, but he got enough of the move to the kid leave him alone. And that's all you want. You just want to be left alone. Not today, man. Not today. You got families coming out, guns, try to hit you with cars. They want to get on social media and call you names and pick on you and stuff like that. The suicide rate in this country amongst veterans is 22. It's bad. It sucks. The next highest suicide rate are the teens. 12 teens a day commit suicide in this country.
Wow.
A lot of them are over the phone bullying, or not just phone, over the internet bullying, body shaming. You were born deformed. Ha ha ha. God don't love you. Stuff like that. If parents really want to take a stand on some stuff, get out, place your school, knock the bullying off. I've heard so many people tell me, well, bullying's been around forever. That don't make it right. If you're a Christian, you said the devil's been around forever. Don't make him right. Just because something's been around, we need to put a stop to that stuff. I don't understand the pushback. Again, I'm not blaming anybody's feet in Cameron, the school system, but I don't understand the pushback of our children being grooming them for child molestation is what I call it. I'm a victim of that. When I was a little boy, it happened to me. And that's why I grew as big as I was. That's why I lifted all them weights. That's why I learned all that martial arts. I'd be damned if it ever happened to me or my family again. A lot of mental problems I went through in my life because that situation. Have a problem with authority. I am so bad. If my kids want to take a bath, I have their grandma go in there. I don't go nowhere around them. It's a mental thing that kids don't need. Okay. Yep. So parents, if you're out there listening to the show, knock all that shit off about inclusiveness. Knock all that off. Your children need to be protected from pedophiles. It's a rampant thing in this country. Sex trafficking is up. It needs to stop. And you're the first line of defense to take care of this problem. Okay. A lot of people know about me. I'm passionate about protecting our children. Okay. Now listen, I can't be the only one. I can't protect your child if you don't want to protect your child. Start with you, protect your child.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way. It's very difficult to, you did it very well. You eloquently spoke about your youth of troubles that you went through. Likewise, myself, I had two different boys in military school, both of which placed me into a very compromising situation. Don't get me wrong. I ended up being able to run like hell and get away from it. But what was going to happen was very sexual. It would not have been good. I know I wouldn't have liked it. And like you just said, yeah, and you almost made me think about myself more because, like you, problems with authority, because if the authority is not there to protect you, you are now going to buck up against the authority. And basically everyone and anyone who's of that position, be it a teacher, a governor, in my case, I had governors, school monitors. So I'm not going to be told what to do. F you, I'm out the door.
Yeah.
And so I did not know that you and I actually have something else that's
the thing is
common ground. And that's why we are the way we are.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many men that it's happened to, and they talk about it and admit it. I think it makes them look weak. Well, I don't worry about being weak because I'm not weak. Like I said, I'm between 5'11" and 6 foot. You've seen me. I'm built like a Buick. Okay, I ain't weak in no way, shape, or form.
I was thinking Chrysler New Yorker.
Okay, well, I'm getting old, so why not go antique? Yeah, why not go antique? Yeah. But it aggravates the hell out of people when people don't push back against this filth. I mentioned inclusiveness a while ago, and I know some people out there, what do you mean by that? All right, let me explain to you. This country and this administration and certain people want to push inclusiveness. You'll never have inclusiveness. And I'll tell you why. Because when you push more to this side, now you alienated the other side. Okay. Meanwhile, you're telling the other side not to alienate this side, call them names, judge them, whatever. As soon as you go over here, now these guys want to ban what these guys are doing. Comedy, for my profession, for example, they want to put bans on comedy. That's bullying. That's pushing around. Okay. That's calling names. He's a bigot. He's this and that. No, just we're allowed to say things in this country. I know people don't, and I don't want everybody thinking, well, we have constitutional right. That constitutional right for freedom of speech is against your government. We have right to speech because there's no law says we can't speak. There's no law saying you can't say bomb in a bank. Well, if you're a moron enough to do it, then you deserve to get in trouble. Okay? Yeah. Sometimes comedy ain't good. In every situation, comedy doesn't fit. Okay. It just doesn't. Now, so my inclusiveness, like I said, you're going to push everybody one way. This other way is going to be behind. So if you got it, well, let's give the comedy back to them or give something back to them. Then you got this other side complaining now. You're never going to have inclusion. I'm not saying you shouldn't work toward it, but you're never going to have it because one side has a different idea than the other side, and they're not giving on it.
No, they're not.
Okay. I don't have a problem. Go ahead.
You used a word earlier, redneck.
Yeah.
And let's just say you use the word redneck in a joke, and I paid $10 to come to your show. And I hear you say redneck, and I stand up and said, you shouldn't use that word. I resemble that remark, but I don't like it. Well, I think it would be up to you, the comedian, to say, listen, you paid $10 for me to talk comedy.
And you came in here. Yeah.
What's that, sir?
I said, you paid to come to hear me talk.
Yeah.
And listen,
if you can't handle it, they get the hell out.
Right. And the crowd, there'd be a lot of crowd telling you sit down or get out because they paid money to watch the show too. Right. And that's funny. You bring up redneck. Well, people are offended by the word redneck. Let me tell you something. My original stage name and what they call me on podcast is Redneck Pimp. Okay. Person in management position. I'm a redneck, but I'm not full white. A lot of people don't know, but a lot of people don't know. I'm part Cherokee Indian. Okay.
Cherokee, yeah.
So redneck is just a mind frame. I do things backwards to a normal human being. I'm aggressive. You want to do this, we'll go do this. I own a 4-wheel drive pickup truck. That's all I own. That's all I drive is 4-wheel drive pickup trucks. Okay. I own shotguns. I don't want to go and shoot up mass quantity of people because that's not right. I'm not
No.
stupid. A lot of people think rednecks are dumb. I'm not. I got an IQ about 115. Maybe that ain't the smartest guy, but at least mine's 3 digits. Okay. Some people
At least it's not a 2-digit.
Yeah, some people are, their IQ is about the same as room temperature. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Or
saying.
a rutabaga.
Yeah, or a rutabaga. Yeah. So redneck is not a bad thing. I know a lot. I got a lot of black comedians who love it, call me redneck, because rednecks and blacks have a lot of the same principles in life. Okay. And when we start talking about it, they get to laughing. So redneck is not a bad thing. Pimp,
No.
I changed my name because my friends called me the bad man of comedy, but I kind of took pimp off because pimp was offensive to some people, even though it means person in management position, right? And I got it. I didn't want to do it at first. I'm like, man, and I'm still known on Facebook and stuff as redneck pimp. I'm still known as that. But when I perform now on stage, you'll hear the bad man of comedy, and not because I'm catering to nobody, but I was raped, right? And I feel I should have a right to say it. But some other people were raped and they're victims, and they won't come see my show because they think I'm going to downgrade women, which is quite the opposite. I praise and champion women, okay? And a lot of my jokes. I champion my wife, how she busts me in the head with a pan, because I called her my dishwasher or something, So I champion women. And I think if in my culture, in Native American culture, women own a damn place, the shelter. Women own that. You mess around, your ass be sleeping out on these stars with all your stuff, okay? Yep. Women were on a war council. They didn't go to war unless women voted. So I appreciate women. I love my wife to death. I got 2 daughters, 2 sons. 2 of my sons act like women. So actually I got 4 daughters. I'm just kidding. Hey, the comedian's got to come out of me, but I got, and I got granddaughters. So listen, they all have positions, they all have rights. But the problem I have with all this collusion and all this stuff is they think they can do it. We think we can all do the exact same thing. Listen, there's men who can't do what other grown men do. Okay.
Yes.
They just can't. All right. Let's put this for example. Given my history, everybody knows who I am. But if I'm standing next to Brock Lesnar, who are you more afraid of? Brock Lesnar. Okay. We're the same men. We're both tough, great men, but you fear him more. Women stand next to Brock Lesnar. You don't fear any woman. Then you do Brock Lesnar. Way it is. Women give birth. We can't give birth. We are different. It's okay to be different. Women can't produce babies. They can carry babies, but a woman cannot. It takes a male to produce a baby and a woman to carry it. That's why the Creator put it like that. Okay. I believe women have things that we can do, that we can't do, and I believe there's things we can do that they can't do. I've bench pressed 330 pounds. Not saying a woman can't, but it'd be hard to find a woman who could bench press 330 pounds.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the only problem I got about all this other stuff, all this delusional stuff. Men can't have babies. You can throw all the science at me you want. It is scientifically, physically impossible for a man to have a real baby. Him get pregnant by another man, which stop right there. You can't be getting pregnant by another man because that can't happen, right? So you can't carry babies. But listen, I don't care if you're transgender. I couldn't give a rabbit's ass. If that's what you want to be it. If you want to be homosexual, that's what you want to be it. Delusion is what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
The delusion of everything. And so they kind of made they had that swimmer, that male swimmer who was trying to swim with the woman. Leah Thomas got knocked down by the Olympic Committee, said, no, you cannot swim with the women. Ain't happening in the Olympics. No matter if they want to protest or not, guess what? That didn't come from America, ladies and gentlemen. That's from Switzerland. They're the one that takes care of all that.
Well, believe it or not, they've actually taken all his awards away too.
Well, see, I read that, but sometimes you see things you don't know who to trust because some sites you don't vet very well. You can't vet them.
Right. Well, you would hope that they would take the awards away.
Yeah, yeah.
And
well,
give them to the girls rightfully.
Yeah, I read that part, and I didn't know if I believed that or not. I couldn't find much more on that, but that one female swimmer, the blonde girl, okay, the actual rightful champion, got the medals, is what I heard. Now, I don't know if that's...
Yeah, Riley Gaynor.
Yeah, it's her. Now, I don't want to say that, put false information on her network, but that's the way that particular site said it.
Yeah. And the thing is, I was actually going to try to, during a show, I wish our producer was here, because I wanted to bring in Buddy Brown and his description his story. Buddy Brown is on YouTube, folks. I really ask you to go check out some of his works.
Okay.
But he actually does, Richie. He does a lot of songs. He plays guitar, and he has a lot of limericks and music. And it's pretty funny, satirical stuff, actually. But he actually went into a scenario talking about the donkey and the Clydesdale.
Okay.
About how we are all created equal. And even horses are created equal. But truth be told, a Clydesdale will never be able to plow a field where a donkey is built to plow a field.
Right. Well, here's the thing.
Donkey will never pull a big carriage loaded down with beer, whereas the Clydesdale can pull that carriage loaded down with beer.
Right. If you're having a hard time understanding what we're saying and don't believe us, here we go. There's a big event happening in July called the Olympics. There's men and women over there that can do shit we can't do. Okay. All right. I can't run sub 2. All right. Mach 5. What do these gentlemen run? All right. A lot of these gentlemen can pick up way more or bench press way more than 330 pounds. There's boxers, there's basketball. They're there because they're the best at what they do, men and women. And some men can't even beat the Olympic women. Okay. Who we bullshitting? Okay.
Yeah.
Tough guy runner. Oh, I'm a bad man. That lady just ran 4 seconds, dude. How fast can you run?
I like to see the I look at the triathlons where they have to run, bike, and swim. Ironman, they call them and stuff.
Right.
And there are some women that are incredibly fast swimmers, more so than a lot of the guys.
Absolutely. I'll tell you a joke about what you just said, but I want to tell everybody right now. I got a Mexican friend who told me this joke. Okay. I'm going to tell it. Now, it's not mean to be hurtful or racist in any way, but you just said, people run, they swim, and they jump. Well, Mexicans say everybody that runs, swim, and jump are already over here. That's why there are no Mexicans in the Olympics. That was told to me by a Mexican friend of mine because he said, we're already over here. That's why there's no Mexican Olympics, which I think is crazy. I see Mexicans in the Olympics all the time. Comedy, guys. It's laugh. It's funny laugh.
Yeah. And really, but on the flip side of that, the reality is it is a survival for a lot of these people that want to come to America illegally because they are violating our laws. They are technically criminals. They didn't come here the right way. And they should be put back.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to come over here legally? Come on, bring yourself over here. Welcome, friend. How you doing? These guys though are saying, nothing wrong with illegal aliens. Actually, I got a different frame of mind about that. If they come over here, I look at it as assault on this country. I look at it like we should be able to do whatever we need to do to get rid of them back over into the country or whatever, because they're not citizens. Our American laws should not pertain to them. Now, I know some of them do, and some of you out there know more about it than I do. There are some laws that they have come over here, but they shouldn't. They shouldn't until they're a citizen, until they follow all objectives and rules. And Biden never covered this on TV, and this is where he really got hit. He should have. He should have acknowledged there's illegal aliens raping, murdering our children, grown adults. They don't belong here. They came over for that reason, because they know our laws are cotton candy pudding soft, and they get away with it. All right, so
when you think about it, though, the number one, and now I hear, believe it or not, it's only been a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks now, and I watch predominantly, and I will say this, I watch Fox News 24/7, 365.
Right.
But I do go onto other networks. But my biggest problem right from the get-go, it was communication. They don't know our laws. So we give them a license to drive a car, but they don't know that the red light means stop.
Right.
They don't know that you that you can't make a left-hand turn from the center lane just because you want to make a left-hand turn.
Right.
You know, that you have to be in a left lane to make a left-hand turn.
Right.
So the communication is going to be our number one. I was in a store the other day and I listened to people talk. I don't know what language they were even talking.
Right.
I could look at them and say, I think they might have been South American or maybe Indian or maybe even Arabic.
Okay.
I couldn't understand a word they said. You've been in a lot of big cities, haven't you, around the country?
Yeah.
In your lifetime?
Yeah.
You've heard of places like Chinatown?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've gone through Chinatown in San Francisco 35 years ago. Went through Chinatown. I never had a problem. I'd smile. People would smile, nod their heads. That's all we needed to do was smile and nod our heads.
Right.
And then maybe I might buy something. And someone, of course, would speak very broken English, or they'd have someone there that could actually speak English well, enough to do the commerce trade, money for product.
Right.
But, you know, I had other friends of mine, they'd say, well, what about the Hispanic neighborhoods? How do you feel about going into a Hispanic neighborhood? I had a little bit more, personally, a little bit more of, I don't want to say fear, but awareness.
Okay.
Because I didn't speak Espanol, I didn't understand what they were saying.
Right.
I could be in Harlem, which I was off and on in New York every now and then when I go up there to Bronx, the whole 9 yards, Coney Island, all that stuff. Go into Harlem, and if you heard a group of black men standing around or young boys, whatever, my age at that time, early 20s, you would understand words like, see that hunky? Let's stick them and roll them.
Stick them and roll.
Meaning they were going to stab me and rob me. At least I understood. But in the Hispanic area, I never did. But I never went into many Hispanic areas either because of that communication gap. And again, when it came to Chinatown, I never felt safer. I don't know why. I guess because I have studied a little bit of the Chinese culture,
Right.
and I have an understanding of, for instance, if someone bows down to you and they keep their eyes on you, that means they don't trust you. They're unsure. Because if I were to bow down to you and you bow to me, if I were to bow down and take my eyes off you and keep them closed, not knowing you, you might take your sword and cut my head off. So that's why there's certain greetings even in different cultures. There's a certain way to present. I often have a propensity when I'm speaking highly of someone. And by the way, this will be going out to you personally. But my mind, my words, and my heart are open to you, Richie, because we're having that conversation. Again, we may not agree on everything.
We can't. We're not supposed to agree on everything.
No.
And we shouldn't agree on everything.
But we should always try and make that dialogue as peaceful
as possible
and proper as possible. That's
listen. That's what you need to do.
That's something that one of your, I took away, this was about a year ago, a little more. One of your co-hosts came on. I don't think it was Mr. Allen, but one of your co-hosts came on talking about the veterans in particular, saying sometimes I'll get a veteran that will be calling me. They don't want me to fix the problem. They don't want me to offer a solution. They just want me to listen.
Yeah, that's part of our. If you ever watch my show, and you do, at the end of it, we have a certain way. Everybody on the show, let's go. And one of them always says, guys, if a veteran reaches out to you, listen. Don't try to fix the problem. And he says that because everybody seems to try to fix the problem, have got it wrong. Okay, just listen. He'll tell you what he wants. He'll tell, or she, he or she'll tell you what they want. Listen to them. Don't offer something. Listen, if you're a band member, you try to offer music. Maybe they don't like music. Maybe in a comedian, tell them jokes. Maybe they don't want to hear jokes. They just want to talk. You let them talk, because that'll stack days on days, guys. That'll stack days on days. People will be happy. They won't, won't commit suicide.
Well, the thing is, we live in a society that's the world is technically a very big place,
Right.
but it's gotten smaller because of population. It's gotten smaller now, even more so because of this thing called a telephone.
Yeah.
More people rely on this than they do themselves.
And I understand. I get all the apps out there, especially YouTube. Guys work on things. They YouTube how to do it to save money. It's a very good tool, but it's also a very bad tool. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking not just the phone, the internet could be a very bad tool. So people it's important to kids. This is why I got a problem with kids having phones and access to internet until they're a certain age. I believe it should be 16, because at 16 you start getting a little bit more common sense to you. Okay, you're still a kid, but you get a little more. But you get these 8, 9, 10, 12-year-old phones. What's the first thing you're going to do? Access the internet. At first, everything's fine. Kid YouTube and things like that. Next thing you know, you got little girls watching other girls shake their ass. Okay, women, you don't need to do that. Women have a natural beauty anyway. They don't need to be out there flaunting it all. And Patsy Cline always said, and I don't know if you guys listen to Patsy Cline or not, I'm a huge fan of her. She always said, reason she didn't show anything on stage is because women, if they got to show their body on stage, they can't sing.
Right.
Adele on the sing, she's her massive voice she's got.
But she doesn't walk out there in a bikini.
No, and throwing it on her. And I've heard people, well, that's culture. No, that's taught. It's not culture. It's taught. Okay. And men, if that's the only reason why you watch her, because she flaunts herself, well, she ain't got talent. You're there for
you have
singing.
A very low opinion of women.
Right.
If you are there just to watch and maybe not appreciate, say, Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie.
No, I ain't either.
I'm not.
No.
But I can say she's a pretty girl. Oh, I've seen some of the outfits she's had on stage. Believe me, I don't know how.
And millions.
How good these things are not when I'm looking at some of those outfits.
And millions. And millions of little girls watch her, want to imitate her.
And they imitate. Thank you.
Yeah. And watching they want to imitate. And then you got parents, what's so bad about that? Lady, if you can't figure that out, okay, there's a problem. Do you want her to get a man who only considers her a piece of meat? Because women say that. I want man to treat me more than just a piece of meat. 10 minutes later, you come out with stuff all hanging out everywhere.
I just watched a TikTok video today, and no, I'm not on TikTok. People send me stuff, though, reels, as they call them.
Right.
And I watched this one of this woman, young woman, can't tell you how old she was. I'm going to say probably, most likely, early 20s. And literally, her bottom is out of the bottom of the shorts that she's wearing. Leaves nothing to the imagination. And then this man goes on to talk about, this woman saying, if you were my daughter, I would have you wear more clothes. Okay. I would have you value your heart. I would have you appreciate your mind. I would have you accept the mirror and what you see instead of just throwing it all out for the world to see. And I joked with my son when he was here a couple weeks ago. He came here for 5 days for the first time. And Richie, I talked to him and I said this to him. Ryan, I don't know how I would have. You changed my life coming into my life at 35, 34, 33, actually, 34 now. You changed my life, no doubt. But if you were a girl, I have to tell you, I watch what I say around my son at 35. He's a man, but I'm still going to want him to know that I don't have to drop the F-bomb every other word. That I can actually communicate respectfully. But if he had been a girl instead of a boy, I have to tell you something. I'd be like probably an elephant walking on eggshells.
Right.
You know, because I just know I wouldn't be able to have lunch with her, for instance, one day, be in a restaurant, check out a girl walking by. That would make me feel very uncomfortable, especially if that girl or lady was about her age, 35 or 40. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I do.
It would have been totally different for me if I didn't have a son and it was a girl, because I feel like I'd have to up my game that much more in her eyes to say, I love my daddy the way he loves women and the way he reveres women and respects women. But I'd have to up my game big time, you know? So, you know, Richie, we live in a society. I think you really touched on something too, by the way. It's not a culture. It's stuff that they're being taught.
Right.
And it's accepted. You said you used the phrase, the girls are mimicking. There was another word you used, though. Not mimic, but imitating. Thank you. Imitating. And you know, when you've got, I'm going to say it, when you've got an 11-year-old girl that's imitating someone like Britney Spears or Lizzo, I'm sure you know who Lizzo is. You know, when they're a little portly and stuff like that. Yeah, you want the girls to have some self-confidence and find that for them. Because not every girl and boy are built the same. We're all different.
Yeah, we are.
But, you know, you see these girls and you just think to yourself, how did mom let that? I saw a girl not long ago, probably not even 15, 16, dressed in a black mini skirt, fishnet stockings, leg warmers up to the knee, dressed in goth in the face, white with black hair. And I'm thinking to myself, why is she, and by the way, not happy? This girl did not smile. She was angry. And I'm like, why would mom let her leave the house like that? I don't get it. I wouldn't want to have let my daughter leave the house like that.
No. But society backs them up. Okay. People, and I know you've heard this too, during COVID, during the abortion, and women, I'm going to mention you real quick, nothing directed toward you, but I got to say it this way. Abortion, you hear women say, my body, my choice. And it is. Okay. But these are the same people, when COVID come down, they didn't say my body, my choice. They accepted the fact that you got to wear masks, accepted the fact that you had to be clothed in. Nobody's doing that because that's something that the government, who they trust, put out. So society backs these girls. What's wrong with that? There's a whole lot wrong with it. Now, should men rape women who dress provocatively? No, we shouldn't rape anybody. Keep your damn hands to yourself, right? And I'm not saying women who dress lead to all rapes, because that's just simply not true. A lot of women are jogging anywhere. Women could be raped anywhere, and men for that matter could be raped anywhere. Okay, that's on the rise, by the way. Men being raped in this country. It's weird. Being raped. But what I'm saying to you is, if you put it out there and people are backing it up, people are going to start doing this because they know they're not going to get in trouble. Because people allow them to do it. Girls, leave that girl alone. You can wear what you want. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Or if your parents are being mean to you and won't let you dress like that, call the police on them, get them in trouble, and take away their power and rights. Happened to a lot of people. A lot of people I know that happened to. So society backs up that type of behavior. It's, and everybody's always saying it starts with education. Well, it does start with education to a point, but it starts with the parents.
Yes, it does.
It starts with stop being so damn delusional. You know, you're not your kid's friend. I'm not. My sons don't come over to me and have a cold beer with dad. And, you know, they come over and visit. If they want to know some knowledge on some construction or mechanic advice, I give it to them. They go in. They got their own damn friends. I am not their friend. Okay, and I'm not being rude when I say that. They love me and I love them. I'm not their damn friend. I'm not my daughter's damn friends either. Okay, I protect them, love them. You know, I let their husbands know. Woo! Yeah, I ain't your friend either. Okay, I mean, you married in the family. We're right here, but you put your hands on one of them, there's gonna be some furniture moving. All right, that's all I'm saying. And they understand. And my son-in-laws think I'm fucking crazy. Oh, excuse my language. They think I'm flipping crazy. Okay, and I want to keep them that way. I want them to continue thinking I'm a little bit off my rocker. All right. Of course, I got an upper
hand.
What's that?
It gives you an upper hand.
It does. And listen, I love my son-in-laws and I love my daughter-in-laws. One's married in the family. I love them all. But I am not their damn friend. And nothing against you. You are an acquaintance of mine. We should share a like for podcasting. But when it comes to real good friends, I got 5. That's it. And 3 of them, we do a lot together. One of them is almost tighter to me than my wife. It's her than him. So that's what I got friends. They got friends. You're not your kid's friend. And if you never heard that, I'm shocked. If you hear it now, don't get mad. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I often found problems with that. But I want to go back a little bit, 2 minutes ago when you said they say it starts with education, but no, it starts in the home.
Right.
Everything starts in the home with that child and that parent. Everything. So I've often, and this is the way I've looked at kids, by the way, friends of mine that have kids and stuff like that. From the time they're like 1, time they're born, to the time they're about 5, 6, I kind of treat them like children, like kids. But I usually step it up when I meet a kid that's, say, 7 or 8 years old. I call them a little man or a little lady. Okay. I want them to start thinking in their minds that they're a little man, that they're a little lady, that they have a little respect, that they're growing up, that they're going to one day be an adult, that they're prepared. I'm trying to prepare them to being that adult. And so when you said, everything, a lot of people say it starts with the education. No, you were right. And you did. You said, no, it starts with family. It starts with parenting.
It has to. Right. It has to. And that's the problem with not having both parents in the household.
Yep.
Okay. I blame the men in this country for some of the things going on. Well, for a lot of things going on. It starts with the men. Men are not in their household. Some men believe if they have sex with a woman to get her pregnant, that they're a victim. They're a victim because the woman's going to come get child support. They're being victimized because of child support.
Yeah.
That's a big problem the way I'm thinking. Men, there's a lot of dads out there who are deadbeat dads. There's a lot of moms who have sex with men, have babies. The man might not be compatible with you, but you're with them anyway because, of one night.
Heat of the moment.
And one night, and look, we got problems. So I blame the men for a lot of problems in this country, and I something else. If I don't know how much time we got, but something else. There's a lot of people that are religious. There's a lot of people that are spiritual. And there's a lot of people that is completely full of shit. Okay. You got to learn and you got to figure out which ones are which. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. A lot of people take religion and they did a lot of things off God's name. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Saying, well, the Bible says this, Bible says that. It's okay to do it in God's name. Like Muslims. And I had a couple of friends who verified this with me. It's sad. In some of the Islamic religion, it says women are for breeding, boys are for fun. Okay. Thank God, a lot of Muslims don't honor that no more, but that's in their text. So you got men who turn around and do that because the Bible says, or the Quran? The Quran says to do that, so they'll do that. No, there's some religion like Catholics. I got several jokes about Catholic priests and altar boys and stuff like that. That stuff happens. Okay.
Yep.
You got to
I don't
pay
even
attention.
laughing.
Yeah, you got to pay attention of what you teach them in the house. If you start teaching religion, that's fine. But I don't want to see you on TV in 5 years, okay, having 19 wives, and 14 of them are your daughters, okay, out of some fenced in capsule or captain somewhere, okay, and doing FBI's doing a raid on your complex. Because I'm gonna laugh at your ass. I am gonna poke fun of you. I'm gonna laugh at you. Hey, listen, you ain't off limits, right? And so that being said, there's people that make fun of religion. Like, for example, in comedy, we get up on stage and people make fun of God, make fun of Jesus, make fun of church, make fun of Pope. Nothing is off limits. But if you're laughing at those, don't get mad when somebody makes fun of fat people, makes fun of or pokes at fat people, pokes at gay people, okay, pokes at presidents who fall asleep on a podium, presidents with orange hair. Don't get mad. You got the same energy, right? And some people use religion to do whatever they want and think they justify it, you know, and that's just as wrong as anything else. But it starts in the house. So if you got religion, practice it. If you're spiritual, like me, I light a fire when I have a hard decision. You know, I let the Great Spirit guide me in what I want to do. Do I go to your house and light a fire in your yard? No. Am I pushing it off on you? No, I'm not. I'm just telling you what I do, right? You got to have benefit and balance. Benefit and balance, guys. BB, benefit and balance.
Yep.
Thing is, we don't have that. We don't.
Yeah, we don't. We don't. I mean, across the board, you know, taking everyone, we don't. And, you know, it's funny you say that because I consider myself personally more spiritual than I do religious. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I love the Bible. I love the story of Jesus, all the little tales that are in there. I think it's great. I really do.
Right. Okay.
But I look at the spiritual growth, like I was saying earlier, being in Chinatown. And I've got some friends that are from the Philippines. And Philippines is a totally different culture in and of itself, by the way. And
okay.
I absolutely love the customs. I love the culture. I love I just love the people, you know, because they're well, first they're good people,
right,
hardworking, so on and so forth. But we can smile, we can joke, we can laugh about everything and anything. And again, it goes down to, and I've needed you, by the way, Richie. It's been a minute since I've talked to you, but I've needed this moment with you because although you haven't been able to light me up too much, making me almost hurt my belly laughing, just knowing that you're there right now at this moment,
right, knowing
that could be the case at any moment.
Well, I can, if you want me to, I could cut in. I could cut into a couple belly rolling jokes for you if you got the time and want to laugh hard.
Well, we've got 15, 20 minutes left of the show. You know what? I'm going to remove myself because I don't want everyone seeing me turn red or anything. But I'm going to remove myself and give us a bit of your shtick. Is that okay?
Yeah. All right.
That would be good. Thank you.
All right. This bit's called cell phone. Right. All right. Let me flip that switch. All right. How many of y'all have cell phones? Huh? Cell phones? Yeah. Get rid of them. They're dangerous. They about got me beat up, about got me arrested, and about got me killed. All right. Here's what happened. Wife came to me. She says, honey, I think we need to get some smartphones. I said, no, we ain't doing it. We don't need them. My phone's a flip phone. It's never dropped a call. It can get signal in a cave. We're not doing it. She says, but you don't understand. These phones have the power to have navigation for maps. You know, I said, I don't ever get lost. No, woman, we ain't doing it. Well, men, we know the truth, right? As I'm leaving Verizon with my new phone, trying to set it up and everything, right? I can go home and I'm trying to set this thing up. My nephew came in. He's a special needs nephew. He's not, he just special needs. He needs special shoes and special lotion, if you know what I mean, right? So he came in I said, hey, I got a new phone here. He goes, cool, let me see it. I said, can you set this thing up? He said, yeah, I know how to set it up. He takes off. He's gone 30 minutes. He comes back. Wife said, hey, assurance is with 2 S's, right? I said, I don't know. Let me see this phone here I got. I type it in. I get to AS. It comes up Asian ass porn. Okay. I'm thinking, whoa. My wife's about to beat me up. What are you doing? I said, hey, I didn't do it. It must have been him. I didn't do this. Don't get mad at me. You said we needed a phone. I like fat ass American women. I don't like Asian ass porn. Not me. Almost got me beat up. Almost got me arrested because my nephew came home, same nephew. He said, hey, uncle, today we learned about pigs, sows, boars. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, fascinating little animals. I said, yeah. I said, did you know they had a corkscrew penis? He's like, no, I didn't know the male had a corkscrew penis. Again, take my trusty phone, right? I said, okay, Google, show me boar's penis. This thing, okay, pictures of boy's penis. Boy's penis? Whoa. I'm trying to back out of this thing. Whoa, I'm looking around for the FBI. I mean, I'm feeling like a Jared from Subway, right? I ain't a Catholic minister. I ain't Father Wink Wink. No, it almost got me arrested. And almost got me killed was, wife was in a store. We were shopping. She bought this new dress. She sends me pictures of it. I type back SWEEEEET. Sweet. Autocorrect changed it to sweet. She thought I called her no sow. I was 6 months bobbing and weaving, trying to get away from her. Hey, it's your fault. You should give a redneck a phone. Cell phones, guys, get rid of them. They're bad. They're terrible.
I'll tell you now. That's pretty good. I really, yeah. Asian ass. No, I like my wife's fat ass. I like fat ass.
I like fat ass American women.
You're right. I mean, they can get you in a lot of trouble. Get you arrested. I don't know.
Sadly,
I needed that little bit of a laugh, by the way.
Sadly, 90% of that joke is absolutely 100% true.
Yeah.
I typed in, I said boar's penis like the hog, and it came up boy's penis. I'm, whoa. I about wrecked my car. We was going down the road, about wrecked my car. And wife's over there laughing her ass off. She couldn't hardly do anything either. Wow.
Well, in that case, the telephone misconstrued what you said and misinterpreted it. And, it's funny because really when you get down to it, I could make a statement right now that I'm trying to think of one that I could say, but where you could misconstrue it and interpret it the wrong way. Sometimes it's not what we're saying, it's how we're saying it.
Yeah, the delivery. See, that's the thing. Delivery is everything. I'm a very misunderstood guy. The way I talk, I have brain damage. And sometimes I'll leave a word out, or I'll try to use a more simple word to say, which can mean 2 or 3 different things. Okay. Now, some people know me and say, what'd you say? I'll go back and I'll say it again the right way. A lot of people don't ask me what I said. They just hear part of it and then they fill in the sentence. They assume I'm going somewhere else because of a certain word. And boy, that's got me in trouble a lot. It really has. And I always tell people, well, I don't know if you're kidding or mad. I said, you'll know when I'm mad. There's no gray area. There's no secret when I'm mad. Okay. You don't have to worry about that. And if you ain't paying me, I ain't funny. So, being serious. So yeah, do. You're right. You can't get yourself in trouble.
And in closing, because I think, I think number one, I thank you for taking this kind of time with me.
Yeah, no problem.
I sometimes can't look in the mirror longer than 5 minutes, let alone listen to myself talk for almost 2 hours.
Right.
But no, thank you very much, Richie, for coming on. And all I can say is people, well, I'm gonna keep you here a little bit longer. You and I talked about the phrase, because I asked you this, about taking the law in your own hands. We both agreed you're not supposed to take the law in your own hands.
Right.
And yet sometimes if you were to do that, You could ask 10 different pastors whether or not it was the right thing to do. But you said something in particular, which was you could ask another pastor and he'd say, that's a conversation you have to have.
Yeah.
With the higher power.
Yeah.
To justify, in this case, taking the law in your own hands.
Right.
I know, we would never purposely ever do that. That's not in our wheelhouse. I know that.
No.
But sometimes if there's an intruder in my home, I'm going to tell you, they're going out in a body bag.
Yeah. It's either them or me.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. But here's the thing. We talked about this off camera, and I'm glad you brought it up. And I got some announcements I want to make real quick after I get done with this. We talked about this off camera. It's against the law to kill somebody. It just is. Well, a lot of people think, well, veterans or people have been in combat. Not all veterans have been in combat, but people in combat kill people. How's that not a sin? Well, there's a gray area there, guys, because the other side has a military. They're wanting to kill me. They believe they're right. We're trying to kill them. They believe we believe we're right. All right. It's a moral dilemma. It really is. Both of us should not be killing each other.
No.
People are saying, well, you're doing your job. Are we? If it gets to the point we got to kill each other, somebody has failed. I'm not scared. If we want to go to war, let's go to war. Let's do it now. But if we have to go to war, that means somebody's not very diplomatic and somebody's failed. And then we got to go in, right, and stand before the Almighty, and say, why'd you kill him? Well, I was told to by my country. Well, they own you. Don't you own yourself?
The most serious failure of leadership is a failure to foresee.
Yeah.
And this is why I liked Trump. If you notice, in this past 3.5 years now, we are now involved in more conflicts around the world than we have been since basically the 60s with Vietnam. Because we don't necessarily have boots on the ground right now, but we've got every strong power of the world looking at us as a weak country, ready to do whatever they want to other countries, i.e., China wants to take over Taiwan, which would mess up our commerce and trade with the chip system, in particular for computers, blah, 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 around the world. Russia wants to take Ukraine because they want all of it back. Putin doesn't want just portions of it back. They want all of it back. But under Trump, we had peace. We didn't have people thinking that we were going to just start a war somewhere. Right now, the Navy of the Chinese is like, their Navy is like 340 ships to our 292. That's a big difference of numbers. Big.
Yeah.
And that's just ships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's correct. And you build them for one reason. Just saying.
Yep. So Biden has not had the ability to foresee all the garbage that he has put or that he's put onto the plates of all the Americans, because we're the ones paying for it. We're the ones paying for the war and our taxes. We're the ones paying for the all the illegal invading criminals, immigrants that are coming across the border, every one of them. I don't care if they're 6 months old or if they're 65 years old. They are a criminal. They don't belong here. And this Democratic Party has really just destroyed our country. But under Trump, on the other hand, he's like, no, I think I can bring the Arabic nations together in an Abraham peace accord. And he was well on the way doing it. At least he was foreseeing the future. Trump was. Right. Biden does not see the future. Henceforth, why we are in such problems that we are in.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. Well, before I go, I want to just say thank you very much for having me on your network. It's been a pleasure and an honor. I was looking forward to this all day. Appreciate it. Couple things on our end here. Guys, if you like the content of what you heard, also check out my show, the WO Radio Show, on Tuesday nights at 6 to 8 p.m. I do comedy on there as well. We have funny memes. We got serious talk going on. We have missing persons, which is real cool. If you see a person, contact a family, for missing persons. It's great. August the 17th, I'm going to be in St. Joe, Missouri. We got a booth up there. We're going to be spreading the word about comedy vets and what it is that we do. 22 a day. In some circles, it's 45 a day. Veterans commit suicide. So that's going to be going on there. On September 7th, we're going to be in Kansas City, Missouri at the Veterans Community Project. If you're not familiar with those, look them up. They do a great thing. They built these little tiny homes for the veterans to live in. In the process, to help them get in and get a show, and then it helps them get on with their life and doing things, progressing up. Great place, great people. Vincent Morales and those guys over there at Veterans Community Project will be there September 7th. And October 12th, I'm going to be in my hometown, Jamesport, Missouri. We're going to be performing there, myself and a couple other great comedians. Good Night, it's adult show, our 18 and over show. So you expect to come there and see me with the clown wig on. Wrong show. That's not that one. Okay, so that's some of the things we got coming up over Comedy Vets. Appreciate you all very much. Thank you all very much. And remember, don't try to fix the problem. If someone comes to you about suicide, listen to them. And if you're out there, if you feel like you got nobody to talk to, you're wrong. This man right here, call him up. He'll talk to you anytime. I'll talk to you. I got friends at BV Nation Radio to talk to you. Commander, he'll talk to you. Suicide is not good, guys. It's not. The numbers are coming up. They're not coming back down. That's sad. That's sad.
Yeah.
As I always say in my native tongue, Dona Dogahoy, Osta Usvi. Until we meet again.
Till we meet again. Richie, thank you so much for coming on here, brother. I thank you, and I mean that.
Not a problem.
I've gotten to know you again. We've only gotten to know each other technically when you think about it. More so through the podcast, we've spent more time than we have in public.
Yeah.
Although when we see one another, we're good. We're very good.
Yeah. No,
but Richie, thank you for taking this time. Thank you for sharing that bit about the your cell phone. I know it's a little bit different when you're sitting down. You can't get that animated. You can't pull the phone out really, but you did a great job. You definitely got me thinking about it. I think everyone else is probably thinking about the same thing. You say, hey, what well, he's right. He's got something about that,
Yeah,
he's got that going on. Heath, see you, Shelly and Richie.
Hey,
and
brother.
of course, by the way, Ruth said, Guild show. Thanks, boys. I think she's studying her Dutch.
Yeah, she meant good. She put good underneath it. Yeah, there you go.
I was just thinking maybe she was studying Dutch.
No,
Richie, thank you so very much for coming.
Not a problem. Not a problem, guys. You all take care of yourselves.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We are blessed in life when we can meet people. Some people take it a little bit too far. This quote that I had, for instance, was something that I did want to talk about this a little bit, but I didn't want, and I'm glad he's out of the studio. There we go. I really didn't want Richie to be a part of this conversation, although we did talk about it. And I'm going to put this quote back up because I want you to understand something. I started out with it's not what you say, it's how you say it, so on and so forth, how things can be misconstrued. When a deputy is filing a report, it is incumbent upon that deputy to make sure she's doing her job complete. Yes, I'm using the word she. That would be you, Lorianne Parker of Davies County. You fell short. Sad you used young girls, as pawns. All to discredit me, in your opinion. But what really is a kicker is the fact that your boss, Sheriff Larry Adams of Davies County, who wants to be reelected, folks, under this leadership, this is not the type of man that should even carry a badge or a gun. And why do I say that? Because while an investigation of Lori Ann Parker, Deputy Parker, was going on that she felt I needed to be charged with sexual harassment, thus making and formulating the opinion of the public. At times I've seen it, been called a pedophile. I'm not a pedophile. They're not furthest thing from my mind. Rapists, murderers, and pedophiles all deserve the death penalty, in my opinion. And I'm keeping that part of it short. But you know, Sheriff Adams did not try to say, let me talk to the victims. Let me get a victim report from each victim. Why wasn't there a report? Because there were no victims. And yet from now on, I've got a target on my back because of what this stooge, Sheriff Adams, did. He did not foresee the future that I would possibly be killed. I could possibly get killed easily or mugged or whatever. Good luck with that, by the way, you dumb jackasses. That's all I'm going to say about that, because they'd be foolish to think about taking me on. But you know what, Adams? You know what, Parker? What you did under the Constitution by violating my rights, my civil rights, basically under the colors of law, you have placed me in a position where I've got to tell you, I am a God-fearing man. I love God. I'm a spiritual man. Definitely believe in the good things in life. I'm also about karma. What comes around goes around. And in my case, to both of you, and I want to make this very clear, no threat, not even a promise. I won't take the law to my own hands. But I will be so happy to know that the blue line of the cop flag will be thinner if either one of you or both of you either kick over, get killed in the line of duty. I don't care. I think it would be the best thing, in my opinion, for justification. I wish, I pray both of you have the worst life possible. And we can do that. We can wish for that. I can wish for that. I'm a damn good man. Hey, I've not always been good, but I try every day to be a good man. And I tried as I've gotten older to be better each time. But you know what? I wish, I pray, I hope someone puts you two down. And I don't care if it's forever. I don't care if it's just that you're vegetables or paralyzed. You get what you deserve. You're evil people. Neither of you should have a gun, a badge, and your post-certification should be taken away right down to the point you shouldn't even be a Walmart security guard, let alone a greeter. You're both pathetic people, pitiful people. I owe an apology to a little lady, and I'll tell her because I was loud. But no, I do not regret saying I wish, I hope, I pray, I dream, I desire that Parker and Adams, the stooge himself, that both of you get killed in the line of duty. I do. I hope. Because that would be very fitting for each of you. With that being said, some people would say, gosh, Vince, that's a little strong. You shouldn't say that. Well, guess what? I also think Joe Biden and the White House administration should all be hanging from the gallows. And once they're choked out and down, I think that there should be more to come up to those ropes. And I mean on both the Republican and on the Democratic side. Where this country is at right now, there's never been so much division. I never thought at the age of 55, 53, I think it was, that I'd actually be carrying a sidearm with me, that I would sleep with a sidearm, that I would have to think in terms of, oh, shoot that person that just got into my house. Don't let them get out that window or door. You keep them in the house. And as I've always told everyone, and I ask you to listen to me on this, you always tell the police, I was in fear of my life and I want to talk to an attorney, and you shut up. Because if you have cops like these two bozos, these two evil, vile, lying, thieving deputy and sheriff of Daviess County, when you've got people like that, you don't ever want to talk to them. Ever. Because they will see to it that even though you took the bad guy out, they're going to see to it that you go to jail because you're maybe an extremist, a God-fearing, faith, family, Second Amendment, First Amendment person, a capitalist. We are extremists. Those of us that talk like this are extremists. We're bad people. And reality is, no, we're not. I know myself, I'm calling people out. I'm doing it for a reason. I don't like having money stolen from me by the director and manager of Lake Viking, who, by the way, resigned last week, all because he couldn't handle the heat of the kitchen. And because I was beating that drum for so long, for so loud, and with purpose. And people came together, and he basically was forced out. And that's what it's going to take, forcing people out. Matt Robinson, you've got to go. Larry Adams, you've got to go. Right now, the two of you are right up there at highest. Oh, and President Doug Dolly Winters of the Lake Viking Association, you've got to go. I've got 3 of you on my hit list. All 3 of you got to go. You can't be elected. You can't be brought in. You should be resigning because you're nothing but the proverbial pathetic, pitiful pieces of fecal matter. And I have more use out of fecal matter than I do in the 3 of you combined. I can make compost for my garden. Outside of that, you guys are bad people. So that's what I do, folks. I call out the bad people because I want to protect the citizens, the good people, the taxpayers, the parents that don't have a complete household. Maybe it's just a mother or a father raising children on their own. I want to be there for them. I want to help them out. I don't want to see a lawsuit against our cities, against our governing bodies. I don't want to see it. And by the way, with the school resource officer, with Matt Robinson and his own privatized police force, I'm going to just say it to you like this. When you give a person that kind of power, there's no stopping them. It's only going to get worse. Again, I've witnessed a parent being assaulted by a staff member of the Cameron School District. Got it on video. Can't make it up. Videos don't lie. We've got to stop the malarkey, but it's through 2 things. Number 1, public involvement. Public has got to start getting involved. If you can listen to Richie's show on WO Entertainment, if you can possibly pick up the paper right now, and I'm going to say it, I'm not crazy about Jamie Honeycutt at all. Don't like him. He knew about this a year ago. But he's picking up and producing journalistic news. Quentin, love what you're doing. Keep doing it. Chris Ward, I heard you're out of the radio program. I hope you never get back in radio. And Abby, down there at Citizens Observer and Cameron newspaper, please take your time, catch up to where we're at. There's a lot of us that we'd love to talk to you about the things so you know firsthand what's going on in our kids' educational system, which, by the way, is deplorable. It's disgusting. It's absolutely putrid. I just use words I'll guarantee you half these kids can't even probably give you a definition of, let alone spell them. But folks, you've got to get the message out. You've got to get involved. And then the last thing you've got to do, which should be your very first thing, is look at what's going on at the election ballot boxes. Because right now we've got a soapbox. That's what I'm on. We've got a jury box. Some people get to be in a jury. I've been in a jury. We've got the voting, the ballot box. Because really, as a good friend of mine, Tom Martz said, taught me, there's only one other box available. That's a fourth box. And that's the ammo box. And it's going to come down to it. It's going to come down to it. We're going to have some pretty ugly things happen. And it's going to be disgraceful. It's going to be pitiful. It's going to be scary. And I'm not one to say, oh, I'm not saying it's just to put the fear in everyone. Just letting you know, be prepared. Be prepared. Protect those that you love. Protect all those that are around you. But first and foremost, love and protect yourself. Then you'll be able to do everything else for everyone else around you. It's the end of the program, folks. Thank you very much for being here. Greatly appreciated. It's just wonderful. I just really had a great time. I want to see who else has commented. Sorry for all I want to offer you a promotion. Oh my God. Sometimes you get these crazy little comments. And technically they're trolls. So I'll let the troll go. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. And I'm just going to say it's hope. We've got to have hope. Again, going back and tailing off of Richie, what he does for the veterans who are, at risk of suicide and program solve and so on and so forth. We have to listen to them. And I think we can take it a little bit further and say, listen to one another. I'm always ears. I'm always available to talk to. You can reach out here to me on the common denominator anytime. Love to hear from you. In the meantime, have a great, great weekend coming. Happy 4th of July. And what can I say? Except, arrivederci. Peace.
A generation of my time.